Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Force here, casting a game for you today. Today's matchup is going to be between MTW's Dimaga and Beastyqt. So Beastyqt as the Terran player, yellow Terran there in the left position, and then the upper position we do have Dimaga as the red Zerg. So Zerg vs Terran, we are here, of course, on Terminus RE. Now I'm going to preface this by saying the following. If my voice sounds a little hoarse or off, it probably is, and that's simply because of the fact that I spent the entirety of the day yesterday casting for the New England StarCraft 2 League. This was the third qualifier. I want to let you know too, if you haven't checked it out, you can actually go ahead and see all of the footage from the casted live event on my Justin TV channel, justin.tv/4strategygaming. And then also to let you know that there is still one qualifier left until the finals, and the finals are going to be coming up next month. So if you're interested in attending, if you live in the New England area, then I would go ahead and take a look into that stuff, because it's going to be pretty awesome. Again, that is the New England StarCraft 2 League. Really fun time. It's really great getting together with other people, and casting the live events is a lot of fun as well. So again, we are on Terminus RE. We do have this Terran vs Zerg matchup. I was told this is an epic match, so I'm looking forward to it. We can see right here, if you don't know, there are these supply depots at the end of the entrance and every ramp for each main starting base, and the purpose of that is to prevent those wall-offs, those ever-annoying wall-offs, and this was built specifically with that in mind, and that is the entire purpose. So with that depot there, no one can wall you off completely, and you will be still allowed to leave your base. Obviously, walling off somewhat considered a cheesy tactic. And look at this Beastyqt coming out already with this 2 barracks build. So going to be looking for a very early marine aggression. And this actually could work quite in his favor, because we can see Dimaga is going for that fast expansion before pool and extractor. So again, could be quite effective. Now we can see here moving out with that Overlord Scout. As soon as he's spotted, he's actually pulling back right now. We do have that Orbital Command making its way on out. At this point, Dimaga doesn't know what's going on. He did see that there was no refinery when he pushed him, but for all he knows, there could have been a refinery going on over here. And you wonder, looking at his vision, how did he know? He probably simply just clicked on the mineral field and saw that it wasn't at 1500. And in doing so, that makes you realize that, hey, someone's been mining from that. So yeah, that's the whole point. Now he moved up with that drone scout and got completely confirmed there. So we do have that one marine making out. Now he also has seen those 2 barracks. And moving up there, Dimaga did spot those 2 barracks. We can see right now Beastyqt still scouting out. He hasn't found where his opponent Dimaga is. He's going to be checking momentarily with that first marine that looks like he's moving out with. So we'll be spotting that sometime in the near future. Now we can see over here that pool just about finished right now. He's actually not been getting any gas, and you're going to be wondering, why did he get an extractor? Why is he not getting gas? This is just all part of playing StarCraft, being able to respond to your opponent. He's not getting gas simply because he did see that early marine push was coming, because he spotted the 2 barracks. So he said, I'm not going to get any gas. I'm going to save my minerals. If I need to get spine crawlers, I can afford them. Going to be able to get out those extra early Zerglings. You can see pumping out 8 Zerglings right now. And I'm going to assume as soon as he feels safe and defended from this push, then he's going to go ahead and start gathering gas. So going to be moving down with some of these drones, trying to get us around on those marines. Even though they are just drones, they can take out those marines. They're definitely still effective. You just have to be careful. And then now that those Zerglings are on the board, shouldn't have much of a problem. Killing off that SCV, building the depot right there, and then going about his merry way. So now at this point, going to expect him to start getting saturation up on that extractor sometime in the very near future. Taking a look over here, we can see Beastyqt looks like he's going to be transitioning into possibly a mech heavy build, dropping those double refineries right there. If he was going continuous bio, he probably wouldn't have gotten 2 refineries. And actually looks like Beastyqt going to be continuing up this marine aggression, and this is actually still going to be pretty effective until metabolic boost gets on the board. You can see microing away those marines, move, stop, and going to just try to prevent that surround, and he can actually do a ton of damage. And look at how quickly those Zerglings drop. And even though the marines are taking heavy losses too, so did the Zerglings, and it looks like Beastyqt going to come out on top here. Now we do have some more re-rallied, or we just regularly rallied marines pulling their way on out. And still no metabolic boost making its way in, because again, we haven't having that late extractor saturation just to defend early game made it so this metabolic boost research is incredibly delayed. And Beastyqt definitely taking full advantage of that, still pumping out the continuous marines. Taking a look over here, hasn't made that transition yet. He does of course have this expansion coming up, and this is obviously very likely. This is something you basically see most people do when they go for a 2 racks early push. It a lot of times leaves you with that excess of minerals, because you do cut back on those refineries. and as such, getting that fast expansion makes a whole lot of sense. We can see the one factory coming down right now for Beastyqt as well, and there's the second. So we're going to be seeing some mechanized play sometime in the relatively near future. We can see Baneling Nest making its way on in over here for Dimaga. Also does have that metabolic boost coming out. So going to be moving forward, and again, that move stop command, so effective, but so many Zerglings on the board right now. Going to be able to get us around. Excellent job pulling up the queen there as well, and this time Dimaga has thwarted that push, so great job by him. Zergling's going to be moving to the center now, and they might actually be able to catch this guy moving around here. You can see the Zerglings are a little bit faster than that Marine, so going to actually be able to catch up without that Stimpak Marine not having much of a chance to do any damage whatsoever. And look at this, Beastyqt going for a beastly wall, in fact, trying to prevent any Zergling run-bys, and having so many bunkers right here. Going to definitely deter a push, but something else to realize again is that look over here, Baneling Nest is up, metabolic boost just about finished. I don't think he's going to, but if he tried for some sort of a Baneling bust, it could be incredibly effective. The only reason I said I don't think he's going to is because a lot of times early game Baneling Busts are very kind of all-in-y. Can actually just be running by and trying to get up in the main base, and he almost got it. Look at that great SCV block, but still pulling through with the Zerglings. He's going to get a full scout, and this actually tells him a lot. Besides any damage that he may do, he's getting a full scout of the base, seeing exactly what's down for production buildings. He is seeing the fact, of course, that there are 3 factories, so now he knows he has to deal with mech play. And look at these Banelings morphing in the background, getting ready, just trying to distract with these few Zerglings that are left. Going to be playing a little bit of a ring around the rosy, and those Banelings just about to pop right now. Going to want to bring those right into the resource line. I think he might be holding off on that for the time being, though. Zerglings running around. Finally, here we go. Baneling's going to try to distract him. He should be moving him in the opposite direction. Baneling's moving down, but great eye there by Beastyqt. Going to be moving down those SCVs to try to avoid getting blown up, and they are still in pursuit right now. Need to get away. Very, very close right there. Big pop going down. Unfortunately, though, didn't take down many of the SCVs. Only got a few Marines. Wasn't his primary target, but either way, still did a bunch of damage and harassment, if nothing else. Taking a look over in Dimaga's base, we do have a transition coming down right here, dropping that Roach Warren. No layer as of yet, still. Oh, yes, he does. He actually has the layer at his expansion there. And you may wonder, well, why is he doing this? This is another one of these things where it's kind of a preference thing, but the thing to realize is that going with this layer at the expo as opposed to in your main, well, the layer has more hit points. You can see the regular hatchery here with 1,500 and the layer with 2,000. So this makes that expansion that much more durable and that much easier to defend. We can also see coming out here with a bunch of spine crawlers, and looks like he is moving into his third, and that is definitely the right decision considering the fact that Beastyqt does have the second base nice and saturated. Now we are going to be seeing an opening with some Hellion harassment right now. Do we have that Infernal Preigniter? Yes, we do. So Blue Flame Hellions going to be working their way on in. Need to stay away from those roaches. And excellent work there by Dimaga and bringing down those roaches to try to deter these Hellions as much as possible. Does he have access into the third? No, he does not. Just that one main entrance. So this is actually really good work here by Dimaga. Roach is going to be moving forward, is definitely going to want Roach speed on them, and it looks like he is in fact researching that right now. And again, Roaches can feel very bold even against Blue Flame Hellions, because being an armored unit, they take pretty much no damage from these Blue Flame Hellions. It's almost like a little tickle and nothing else. Roaches, again, very comfortable against that. It's not until the tanks and the Thors come into play that they really have something to worry about. We can see starting to make their way out. We do have a first tank right now, a couple Marines hanging out over here, and actually looks like he's going to be going for a pretty healthy mix of Marine tank at this point. Just opening up with those Hellions, so I don't think he's going to be moving into Thors. It doesn't look like that's his plan. I think Marine Tank is going to be his MO. Just wanted to start things out here with this Hellion harassment. And taking a look over here for Dimaga, again, we do see that third base just about finished right now, pretty much solely relying on roaches. We do have that Baneling speed, the centrifugal hooks coming in as well, and there is that Spire, but where is it? The Spire is coming in somewhere. I know it is. There it is. Spire's coming in right over there, and again, we do have the 2 Evo chambers, so going to be getting some upgrades for those ground units as well, getting probably that ranged and armor upgrade. And here we go, roaches moving down to try to engage those Hellions, but obviously those Hellions much quicker with those roaches. Even with that roach speed, no way they can really catch up to those Hellions. They're just far too quick. Hellions going to be retreating back home, and over here we do have Beastyqt going on a third. Now this is something that Dimaga definitely needs to scout. He definitely needs to spot, because he would want to take a fourth base knowing that that third is up and saturated. Hellions going to be trying to move in, taking advantage of the roaches are away from the main base, moving straight into the resource line. First and foremost, they're going to be roasting all of those Zerglings. Those Zerglings do not stand much of a chance. They need to try to get us around, and they do in fact. Nice unit control there by Dimaga, still losing a ton, but he took out a few of those Hellions. Excellent Baneling move right there, so there's still just the one Hellion running around. A couple roaches moving forward, and that should drop that very quickly, but again, look at that speed there of the Hellion. Finally, roaches do manage to get rid of that. Hellions, Blue Flame especially, can do so much damage. One Marine taking a few pop shots here at this Overlord. Taking a look over here for Beastyqt, he is still continuing. Never mind, there we go. Finally going to be making a big transition to bio at this point, especially if he starts coming out with a few Marauders. Considering Roachers are on the board, he can be very effective with that. Now, we do see at this point that there are 8 Mutalisks coming out, and I am also aware of the fact that Beastyqt does know about that. You can see he did scout that Spire with that Hellion, so he's fully aware that that was coming up. Right now, coming out with those 4 racks, we got the Starport still, again, those 8 Mutalisks on the way. There are actually the melee level 1 as well as the Carapace level 1 upgrade. I was expecting the range because of the Roaches, but looks like he's prepared to make that transition into Speedling, Baneling, Muta. And the Mutalisks, again, are on the board, so going to be making their way on out. Lots of stuff going on right now for Beastyqt as well. Lots of things in production, but here we go. Mutalist harassment going to get started right now. Take a look at that army tab, 120 to 100. So Dimaga at the slight advantage at this point, forcing the cancellation there of that engineering bay, and may actually force the same thing over here. Do we have any units coming out to help this? We do have a few Marines. Not going to be enough before that engineering bay is canceled. And here we go, finally, Dimaga coming out with that 4th, and that was definitely necessary. Again, Beastyqt is on a 3rd base himself. Continuing up this harassment, but those Marines definitely going to force that back at least a little bit. Beastyqt probably going to want to bring a few more Marines down to help us out. There we go. A few more Marines making their way on in. Stimpak going down. Almost dropping that refinery. Very close, but the Marines and some nice micro there. Getting those few extra shots off. Should be seeing a repair job go down right there in that refinery. And yeah, the Marines are more than enough to fend that off. So over here for Beastyqt, nice good saturation going on. Continuing up that constant production. Pretty much sticking here exclusively to Marines. We can see these 3 reactors on the additional barracks that were dropped. We do have an armory coming out, so we're going to be possibly seeing a Thor or 2, especially considering the fact that there are mutas on the board. Getting a couple Thors into the mix can help quite a bit. That extra range plus that huge splash damage definitely makes a big difference. Taking one more look at the army tab, we can see again Dimaga is still ahead. A few Zerglings and Roaches sitting up over here. We do, of course, have those Mutalisks are continuing up the harassment over here, just being as much of a nuisance as possible. Brand new missile turret placed right here to try to protect this refinery, and actually made dropping another one here as well. So lots of missile turrets trying to deal with this harassment over here. Nice transfer of drones working its way on over to this far right expansion. I'm a little surprised it didn't go for this expansion. It obviously is a bit exposed though. Trying to hide this expansion. The only problem is for Dimaga that if Beastyqt does happen to spot that expo, he's gonna lose it. And we do have a big push making its way across the middle. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks here in the back, but here comes that big push. Lots of Marines and a bunch of tanks as well. Beastyqt looking to end this, but it looks like Dimaga fully prepared. Seeing this, gonna move in, catch the tanks before they get into siege, but there are so many tanks over here. Baneling's trying to roll forward, nowhere near the Marines, though. Marines pulling back to the safety of the tanks, but leaving the tanks exposed to all of that roach fire. It looks like Beastyqt did have just enough to push this back, but we're gonna be seeing some big reinforcements. 17 Banelings making their way on in right over here. We also have the 24 Zerglings and 3 Infestors making their way on out. At this point, Beastyqt doesn't have enough to push into that. It's really going to depend on positioning. He needs to make sure he doesn't get those tanks caught out of position. Moving down with those Infestors, fungal growth going down. That's actually a big problem because there are no medevacs on the board right now for Beastyqt. Sieging up, and this one tank in the front, unfortunately, with very low health, finally coming down with some medevacs, and that's going to help. Those fungal growths would have been completely devastating, but here we go, big push moving forward. Speedlings in the front, Banelings rolling up the back here. Marines pulling all the way to the back, but not enough. Those Banelings just rolled over everything in the front, and Roaches up here to mop things up. No more units. Actually, we do have a few more Zerglings over here, so he should be all set. Not too worried about actually defending, but I don't think he's in a position to counter push anytime soon. So Zergling's going to be moving forward. Great fungal growth going down. Few infested Terrans to try to take care of these medevacs as well as this Queen, and that is absolutely hilarious if they manage to take one of these down. Yes, they do. They grab that medevac that did have some units in it, so nice play there by Dimaga. Excellent defense. Although he lost a lot, he pretty much had no problem. He didn't take any structural damage, didn't lose any of his buildings, just his units, and a unit for unit trade-off is pretty fair, I would say, especially since at the beginning of that fight Dimaga was ahead in terms of army size, and right now they have about even things up. And over here for Beastyqt, we're going to have continuous production of that Marine tank. We do have some medevacs being thrown into the mix here. Looks like Dimaga is going to be working up to a hive right over here, and might even be seeing a greater spire to get some broodlords out. That is quite possible, of course. Definitely looking like it's going to be a macro intense game. We can see right now coming out with that 5th base over here. Now we do have Beastyqt moving across the middle, feeling pretty confident with that Marine tank medevac. Here we go, trying to move down, catch those tanks out of siege again, and they're definitely going to do a lot of damage. Zergling's moving forward, Baneling's coming at the back, a few getting trapped down there, Infested Terrans, big fungal growth going down, and Dimaga completely mopping up the forces here of Beastyqt. That is a big problem. All Beastyqt is left with right now are these medevacs. He lost everything else, and these infestors definitely played a big role in that. The fungal growth keeping things in place, allowing for those banelings to roll forward and take him out. Look at that one baneling rolling into the Marine just for the heck of it. Now we do see a drop going down over here. Beastyqt trying to do some return harassment of his own. Great response time there from Dimaga, pulling back those drones as quickly as possible. Marine's actually going to be hightailing it out of here because he knows reinforcements are on the way. Fungal growth almost, no, deciding not to. It wasn't worth it. But yeah, good response time there by Dimaga, pulling back his units just in time. Obviously didn't need all of these infestors over here. Needs to be a little bit careful. Doesn't want to get a big push in the middle. If he could try to grab this tower so that he can see when that next push comes. And it looks like tons of Marines and medevacs going to be making their way on out. We may very well be seeing some drop harassment here from Beastyqt. We do still have this one medevac over here that's getting ready to move in at any moment. It looks like he is in fact trying to do so right now, but has to be careful because Zerglings are on the board. Is he going to drop while dropping right into the Zerglings? He obviously wasn't paying attention to that. I think he was distracted over here. That is probably the case, unless there's another drop going on, which I don't believe there is. Beastyqt moving into the middle right here right now. Going to be being very bold here, probably needing a planetary fortress, and that is in fact what's coming out. And Marines moving forward with the tanks in the back here. Going to be sieging up right in the middle, and this is actually a bad position for Dimaga if Beastyqt can't get in here. So trying to get us around, he realizes he doesn't want to get cornered here. Zergling's moving forward, Baneling's going down. Wow, that's a whole bunch of ASD. A nice fungal growth going down, and the Banelings just rolling into all of the Marines. Unbelievable. Great job there by Dimaga. Beastyqt again getting lopped up. Needs to pull back here to the safety of the planetary fortress as well. Those tanks, a few banelings and speedlings remaining, as well as a couple of these infested Terrans. Definitely needs to be careful though. Dimaga doesn't want to push into that. He's not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. We do have two medevacs making their way on out right now, so going to be seeing a drop somewhere eventually at some point. And right now, again, we do have Dimaga on 5 bases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one's coming up over here as well. So definitely looking to mass expand. Needs to really be careful, though. This is very threatening, the drop ships in this matchup, or the medevacs rather. And tanks and planetary fortress, this is going to be pretty safe for quite some time. Definitely not going to be easy for him to push up on this. Lots of infestors on the board, a bunch of Zerglings, big upgrades coming down for Beastyqt. And here we go. Drop's going to be taking place in just one moment, and this is really the only action going on in the game right now. Zergling and Marine duking it out over here in the corner, but here comes a drop. We're going to be seeing a stim pack and a huge snipe here of this hatchery. This is not going to take very long at all. Dimaga, unfortunately, definitely going to lose this. He's not able to respond quickly enough, moving some units down, and yeah, look at that. The hatchery does drop. Going to be picking up those Marines and then heading out of here right after that. So nice harassment there by Beastyqt. This is exactly what you need to do against a Zerg player. You don't want to let Zerg players mass expand. You don't want to let them take a map control. Pushing forward with this planetary fortress expansion. Trying to stay as tightly knit as possible. You can see if he tried to push out to here, would it be a little overextended from his main 3 bases. So pushing out to here and then securing it as much as possible, and then trying to harass with that medevac dropping. That's precisely what you want to do. You can see another drop moving out right over here. So this is really great play by Beastyqt. Here's another tactic too. Don't drop right in the mineral line. Drop behind someplace where you're less likely to be seen, stim up, and then move on in. And there we go, that harassment moving in. Going to be sniping down that queen, taking out a bunch of the workers, and then working on that hatchery before the response does come from Dimaga. And we're going to be seeing a counterattack moving out for Dimaga as well. Dimaga checking this expansion. Unfortunately, this is not where he was going. Baneling's rolling forward to try to take care of what's left of those Marines, and they do. But look, the bulk of his forces are now not defending his main base, and that's a little bit dangerous there. Dimaga continuing to be resilient, though, is going to be trying to mass expand as much as possible. I fully expect Beastyqt to keep up this drop harassment indefinitely. I mean, there's really no reason not to do it. Again, he can just do so much damage by sniping mineral lines, forcing guys off the line. Taking out queens is absolutely huge and devastating as well. Now, we do have some big upgrades coming out for all players. The ground carpet's level 3. We do have the adrenal glands as well as the melee attack level 3. Now, all of these things are going to make those Zerglings very, very, very effective. Cracklings is what they would so affectionately be called in Brood War. There we go. It's really hard for me. Sorry, guys. guys, it's the morning. I had a late day of casting, a long day of casting, and yeah, I'm surprised I'm even talking right now. But here we go, big push coming from both angles right now. This is not looking good. Dimaga's going to be rolling in from multiple angles, splitting that siege fire. Nice fungal growth, tons of infested Terrans going down, and look at this, completely mopping up the Zerg swarm, taking care of everything over here, not even paying attention to the fact there's a planetary fortress. Look at all of those infested Terrans. So great job by Dimaga, completely mopping up this expansion, and that was absolutely huge. Just take a look at the army tab right now. Dimaga, even with sacrificing pretty much his entire army, is still ahead right now. Going to be moving forward with his infested Terrans to try to take out at least one tank. Unfortunately, too much splash damage there, but that was absolutely nuts. Taking a look at production, we do have 36 Zerglings on the way, 12 Banelings. We have a few Marines, siege tanks, as well as continuous upgrades coming from Beastyqt as well. That was incredibly effective, though. Beastyqt trying to do some more drop harass in return. He knows that he needs to make up for losing that expansion. Going to be dropping right over here. Going to be seeing a stim pack, I would imagine, and trying to snipe that hatchery again. We do have those infestors on the board, but that's pretty much about it. We do need some more Zerglings. There we go, Zerglings and Banelings making their way across. Dimaga trying to continue to expand. We do have a snipe going down at this hatchery and at this one, and I think he's going to get it. Yes, he does. Beastyqt grabbing that hatchery. I think he might even be able to get that one as well. So great return harassment from Beastyqt, even though Dimaga managed to take out the one good base that he had mining right here. He is pretty much mined out at all other bases, so that was his only mining base. Even though he lost that, he's returning the harassment quite a bit, but a huge problem is that Dimaga does still have mining bases going on. Economically, I would have to say Dimaga is definitely in the lead big time, absolutely, and we do also have Ultralisk coming on the board, so Dimaga looking to be in the best position right now. We've seen some really great infestor use this game, and I definitely can't say that he wouldn't deserve a win if that does happen to be the outcome of this game. Haven't seen this yet, but he's in such a strong position. I'm really not sure what Beastyqt can do. But who knows, maybe he'll pull out a surprise victory. Going to be dropping over here, knowing that there's likely another hatchery being dropped here from Dimaga, and going to be trying to snipe that again as well. Definitely need to see a little bit more something from Beastyqt. At the very least, he needs to look to expand at least once more. Look at that, lifting up. Going to be trying to actually expand over here, and that could actually work out. But no, look at that Zergling Scout. Might be able to catch it just in time if he just sits there. No, he isn't. He's going to be moving out, so he may very well, in fact, miss it, unless he is on a patrol route. If he was put on a patrol route, this could actually be quite perfect. Look at that, Marines moving down, trying to stem things down. Look how quickly those upgraded Marines drop spine crawlers. Absolutely nuts. A Queen dropping right now as well, taking out an infestor, but there's the fungal growth as well as the Zerglings and mutas rolling in. A couple of Banelings, but those stem Marines, absolutely nuts. Definitely pretty effective stuff there. Some SCVs chilling in the middle just because we do have this one orbital command going to be dropped over here. So Beastyqt doing what he can. He needs to try to expand. He needs to continue up this harassment as much as humanly possible. And it looks like we did have some infestor Terrans take out those medevacs there as well. Some ghosts are on the board, and that's obviously going to be quite effective against those infestors, so hopefully we see some EMPs go down. That's going to work very well. And look at this, Beastyqt going to be losing this expansion. Dimaga did fully spot the scan going down just to check the units coming in. Those Marines not going to be enough, unfortunately, but going to do what they can. Fungal growth going down, trapping that one SV, another fungal growth, and the Banelings rolling in there. Unbelievable. So the Marines get dropped, and Beastyqt going to be forced to push back right now. His only mining base, aside from this one, is going to be this over here. He's going to be dropping a ton of mules, I would have to imagine. That's going to be his best bet. Getting SCVs over there going to, of course, be very difficult with all these Zerg units sitting over here. And Ultralisk finally hit the board. We got 4 more on the way, as well as 2 infestors, and this is looking really good. Neuroparasite coming out as well. This is looking really good for Dimaga right now. We do have Cloak actually coming out for the, there we go, Ghost. That's what they're called. We do have Cloak coming out for the Ghost, and that is going to be great because he's going to be able to cloak in, get some EMPs down on those infestors, and then try to roll in with those Marines and tanks. That's going to really be his best bet, but it's again, it's going to be a tough situation right now, and I'm not sure they stand much of a chance. And look at this, Dimaga knows that this expansion's over here. Not good at all. Going to be seeing a ton of infested Terrans come down right now, trying to snipe down this expansion, or just going to be forcing him to move it away. Doesn't really matter. The truth is, he doesn't really need to kill the orbital command. As long as he forces it to just not be there, then he is a-okay. Gonna be trying to make a slow push right now with these siege tanks, doing what he can. He has all but stopped that drop harassment, which is a little unfortunate. Would like to see him continuing that up, trying to snipe some tech buildings. It's such a little, it's just such a small investment for the possible trade-off, to be honest. One medevac filled with Marines, it can definitely do a ton of damage. Here we go, big push coming from Ultralisk from multiple angles. Banelings rolling as well. EMP going down. Great job there, but unfortunately, Dimaga does have some more units coming in from this direction. Needs the EMP. Wow, huge EMPs going down. Now, even with those spot-on EMPs, it doesn't matter. Too many Ultralists on the board. They are fully upgraded 3-3, and they are just absolutely tearing through everything that Beastyqt has. And look at that. That's pretty much the game ender. Ultralists so very, very powerful. This was the last mining base from Beastyqt, and I'm not sure he has anything right now to deal with these Ultralists. Few Marines moving forward. Taking a look at the unit counting station, we only have 31 Marines, and those numbers are dwindling right now because those Ultralists, again, fully upgraded, just so beefy, and they do absolutely so much damage. And great game. This has been a really great, solid game between these two players, but again, I'm pretty much calling it right now because I don't think there's anything at this point that Beastyqt can do. He's just delaying the inevitable, and there we go. There is the GG. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this matchup between these two players. Great game between MTW's Dimaga and Beastyqt. This TVZ matchup, definitely really interesting, and I like the way this played out a lot. We saw a lot of Infestor play from Dimaga. Also, we saw a lot of drop harassment from Beastyqt, and those are two really good, solid strategies that you can be using. So hopefully you guys learned something from this game. You can take it into your own games, and it'll make you a better player. So as always, guys, this has been Force from Force Strategy Gaming. If you enjoyed the commentary, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and as always, keep watching and keep owning. The center of the map, we do have White Raw moving down right now. Now he is moving down with a probe as well, and so it looks like he's going to be putting down an aggressive stance. He is dropping that proxy pylon, so we do have an aggressive stance right now for White Raw. Going to be looking to push out. Needs to be a little bit careful. Braddock, as soon as that pylon's in, going to be able to warp in reinforcements, and here we go. Engagement going down. Nice force fields going down for White Raw. That is actually a big problem right now for Braddock. He does have these units in the back, but White Raw cutting those forces in half, and as such, the sentries and stalkers took no damage just because the majority of the